Welcome to another episode of the Part 145 EASA Training Series.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm really excited today to deep dive into some, well, foundational concepts.
And I'm Sam.
Our mission for this deep dive is to clearly define the critical terms and the concept of the competent authority within Part 145. This foundational understanding is absolutely crucial for anyone navigating the complex world of aircraft maintenance, whether you're new to the field or maybe a seasoned professional looking to refine your knowledge.
That's right. We've gathered some incredibly insightful source material today. We're pulling directly from the Easy Access Rules for Continuing Airworthiness, specifically Annex 2, Part 145, and cross-referencing with practical insights from Aviation-Based Maintenance Explained, Aviation Line Maintenance Essentials, and just culture in aviation maintenance. It's all about demystifying the bedrock of aviation safety. So let's begin our exploration. Okay, let's kick things off with understanding who holds the regulatory reins. So starting with Point 145.1, titled Competent Authority Regulation, EU 2021-1963. What is this foundational point established for us?
So point 145.1 of Regulation EU 2021 UA 163. Yeah, it's all about identifying the designated regulatory oversight body. In essence, it clarifies who the boss is, so to speak, when it comes to ensuring compliance for maintenance organizations. The regulation outlines two main scenarios. For organizations primarily based within an EU member state, the competent authority is typically that member state's national aviation authority. However, it can also be another member state or even EASA itself if responsibility has been reallocated under, well, specific articles of regulation, EU 28.1139.
Okay, so a bit like local oversight, but with the potential for higher level involvement too. What about organizations operating outside of EU territory?
Right, that's where it gets particularly interesting. For any organization that has its principal place of business outside a territory for which an EU member state is responsible under the Chicago Convention, then EASA, the European Union Aviation Safety Agency, steps in directly as the competent authority. This dual structure is, well, it's incredibly pragmatic, you see. It allows for localized expertise within member states while ensuring a consistent, high-level standard of safety oversight globally for all organizations operating under Part 145. It prevents gaps in regulation and ensures uniform application of the rules regardless of where an aircraft might be maintained.
That distinction is key. It really sounds like it's all about clear lines of accountability, making sure an organization always knows who is setting the standards and ensuring compliance based on, well, their geographical footprint.
Yeah.
This definitely sets the stage for how all other regulations will be monitored and enforced.
Absolutely, yeah. Without this clear definition of authority, the entire regulatory framework would lack a solid foundation.
Now, let's move into the precise language of aviation safety with GM1 to Annex 2, Part 145 definitions. We'll start with two terms often used interchangeably, but which have pretty distinct meanings here: audit and assessment.
Indeed. The GM1 guidance defines audit as a systematic, independent, and documented process for obtaining evidence and evaluating it objectively to determine the extent to which requirements are complied with. And it notes that audits may include inspections, so that's important. In contrast, assessment, especially within a management system, refers to a planned and documented activity performed by competent personnel to evaluate and analyze the achieved level of performance and maturity. The crucial note here, I think, is that an assessment focuses on desirable outcomes and the overall performance, looking at the organization as a whole. The main objective is to identify the strengths and weaknesses to drive continual improvement.
Okay, so how do we really differentiate these two in practice? They've all sound like, forms of evaluation.
That's a crucial question. Think of an audit as more of a compliance check, a really rigorous verification that specific rules, procedures, requirements are being followed. It's kind of like an inspector verifying a checklist. Is this procedure documented? Is it being done exactly as written? That sort of thing. An assessment, on the other hand, is, well, it's broader, more holistic, more forward-looking. It's less about strict adherence to one specific rule and more about the overall health, effectiveness, and maturity of the organization's systems. It's about asking, is the system performing optimally? Are we hitting our safety goals? What could be done better? It's more of a diagnostic review aimed at continuous improvement, you see, whereas an audit is more like a snapshot of compliance at a point in time.
That's a very helpful distinction. So one is about verifying compliance, the other is about evaluating overall effectiveness and maturity.
Got it. Shifting gears slightly, but still focusing on these fundamental human elements, let's talk about competency. GM1 defines it as a combination of individual skills, practical and theoretical knowledge, attitude, training, and experience. Yeah, and what's particularly insightful about this definition is its emphasis on the combination of factors. It's really key. It's not enough to simply have, say, theoretical knowledge of an aircraft's electrical system. You also need the practical skills to work on it safely, the right attitude towards safety and procedures, and sufficient training and real world experience to handle the complexities and, well, the unexpected challenges that always seem to pop up. For a certified aircraft mechanic, this holistic view of competency means they can execute precise tasks, maintain a safety first mindset even under pressure, and draw upon a rich background of experience to make sound judgments. It's really the whole package.
That makes perfect sense. It's the full package, not just one piece. Right. Okay. Building on the idea of improvement and addressing issues, it's critical to understand how we address non-compliance and prevent recurrence. That brings us to three often confused terms: correction, corrective action, and preventive action. The GM1 guidance defines correction as the action to eliminate a detected noncompliance. Pretty straightforward. Then corrective action is the action to eliminate or mitigate the root cause and prevent the recurrence of an existing detected noncompliance or other undesirable conditions or situations. And it adds proper determination of the root cause is crucial. And finally, preventive action is the action to eliminate the cause of a potential noncompliance or other undesirable potential situations.
Yeah, this triad, it really represents a progression in how an organization approaches safety. A correction is, the quick fix, like replacing a faulty component. It deals with the symptom right then and there. Corrective action, though, goes much deeper. It involves that root cause analysis, asking why did the problem occur in the first place, and then implementing changes to stop it from happening again. So, for instance, if a component failed, a corrective action might involve, say, retraining staff on installation procedures or maybe revising the maintenance schedule itself. Preventive action is the most proactive step. It's about anticipating potential problems before they even show up as noncompliances. This could involve analyzing trends, conducting proactive risk assessments, maybe implementing new technologies to mitigate potential hazards, essentially ensuring issues are eliminated before they even get a chance to arise.
So it's really about shifting from reactive fixes to a deeply proactive problem-solving mindset. That seems paramount in aviation safety. And the emphasis on identifying the root cause for corrective actions feels like the absolute cornerstone of this process.
Absolutely, you've hit the nail on the head. These concepts are foundational for building any truly robust and effective safety management system in aviation. They really are.
Okay, let's shift our focus now to the human side of aviation, which is so intrinsically linked to safety. We'll discuss error fatigue, hazard, human factors, and human performance. These terms are incredibly interconnected and vital to understanding aviation safety.
Right, let's unpack these. Error is defined as an action or inaction by a person that may lead to deviations from accepted procedures or regulations. The note adds that errors often happen when a planned sequence doesn't achieve its intended outcome, and it's not just down to chance. Fatigue. Well, that's defined as a physiological state of reduced mental or physical performance capability resulting from sleep loss or extended wakefulness, circadian phase, or workload. Basically, being tired affects how well you perform. A hazard is a condition or an object with the potential to cause or contribute to an aircraft incident or accident, something that could cause trouble. Human factors are described as anything that affects human performance, and it's about seeking a safe interface between the human and other system components by proper consideration of human performance. Designing things for people, essentially. And finally, human performance itself refers to human capabilities and limitations which have an impact on the safety and efficiency of aeronautical activities. What we can and can't do, basically.
It truly underscores how fundamental the human element is, doesn't it? An error isn't just a simple slip-up, but a deviation, and often influenced by conditions like fatigue.
Precisely, yeah. Human performance acknowledges that, our capabilities aren't limitless. We all have inherent limitations. We get tired, we get distracted. Human factors is the crucial field that studies how to design systems, procedures, training, all of it, to work with those human characteristics, ensuring a safe interface. When you're experiencing fatigue, for example, your human performance is degraded, which significantly increases the likelihood of making an error. And any error, or even just a simple physical condition like, say, a loose bolt, can become a hazard, something with the potential to lead to an incident or worse. Imagine a mechanic, maybe heavily fatigued from long shifts, making a slight error during an inspection, perhaps missing a critical fastener. That oversight immediately becomes a hazard for the next flight. It directly connects all these concepts.
That real-world scenario makes the connections abundantly clear.
Yeah.
And tied to this, we have near-miss and the all-important just culture. GM1 defines near-miss as an event in which an occurrence to be mandatorily reported according to regulation, EU, No 376-2014 was narrowly averted or avoided. An example given is great. A mechanic on rechecking his or her work realizes that one work card step was not properly carried out, catching your own mistake, basically. For just culture, it simply refers to regulation, EU, No 376-2014, Article 2.
Right. And to expand on just culture, our source, A Just Culture in Aviation Maintenance, really emphasizes its practical significance. It says, a just culture is a system where mistakes are viewed as opportunities for learning and improvement rather than solely for punishment. It encourages open reporting of errors, recognizing that, well, human error is inevitable, and it focuses on understanding the underlying causes of incidents to prevent them happening again. This culture balances accountability with fairness. So individuals aren't penalized for honest mistakes within their training and experience, while still addressing things like gross negligence or willful violations.
So what's the most crucial takeaway for our listeners about how just culture really changes the dynamic of safety when it comes to human error?
Well, I think the real power of a just culture is its ability to transform potential failures into invaluable safety data. It's huge. If individuals fear severe punishment for honest mistakes, guess what? They won't report them. It's human nature. The near-miss example provided is perfect. The mechanic caught their own error. In a just culture that isn't just excused, it's actually seen as a critical learning opportunity that prevented a potential hazard. It shifts the focus from blaming individuals, which is often unproductive, to understanding the systemic causes of errors. This allows the organization to implement effective corrective actions and preventive actions that truly enhance safety. All while, and this is important, still maintaining accountability for deliberate unsafe acts. It's about fostering an environment of trust and transparency where everyone feels empowered to contribute to safety.
That truly transforms potential failures into valuable safety intelligence. Really powerful stuff.
Exactly. It cultivates an environment where everyone contributes actively to safety just by being honest and transparent about what goes wrong or nearly went wrong.
Okay, now let's zoom out a bit to the broader system with inspection, organizational factor, oversight planning cycle, and oversight program. These terms seem to describe how the competent authority keeps everything in check.
Absolutely. They form the framework for oversight, starting with inspection. GM1 describes it as an independent documented conformity evaluation by observation and judgment, basically checking if things comply. It notes that inspection may be part of an audit, but may also be conducted outside of the normal audit plan, maybe to check if a previous finding was fixed. An organizational factor is defined as a condition that affects the effectiveness of safety risk controls related to the culture, policies, processes, resources, and workplace. So, the broader context. Moving to the bigger picture, the oversight planning cycle refers to the time frame within which all areas of the approval and all processes should be reviewed by the competent authority, the long-term plan. And the oversight program is the specific plan, the detailed oversight schedule that defines the number of audits and inspections, the scope and duration, and the tentative time frame, the what, when, and where of oversight activities.
So let me see if I've got this right. It sounds like an inspection is a specific tool used within a larger oversight program, which itself operates within an overall oversight planning cycle set by the competent authority. How do organizational factors fit into this picture?
You've summarized the hierarchy perfectly. That's exactly it. The competent authority uses that oversight program to map out when and how they'll conduct audits and inspections. This program is part of that larger, long-term oversight planning cycle, ensuring everything gets reviewed over time. And crucially, during this process, they're not just looking at individual non-compliances found during, say, an inspection, they're also looking at those underlying organizational factors. These factors, things like company culture, resource allocation, training quality, even the workplace environment, can either contribute to safety risks or help mitigate them. So, for example, an inspection might reveal a specific procedural non-compliance, but the broader oversight might identify an organizational factor, like maybe insufficient staffing or poor training, as a root cause contributing to it. This systematic approach is really vital for robust safety.
That really illustrates the depth of the safety management system. It's moving beyond just individual actions to those systemic influences. Makes sense. Okay, next up. Risk assessment, safety culture, safety risk, and safety training. These really seem like the proactive heart of aviation safety.
They absolutely are. These are key proactive elements. Risk assessment is defined as an evaluation based on engineering and operational judgment and ONUDOR analysis methods in order to establish whether the achieved or perceived risk is acceptable or tolerable. Basically, deciding if a risk is okay. Safety culture is described as an enduring set of values, norms, attitudes, and practices within an organization concerned with minimizing exposure to dangerous or hazardous conditions. It's about that shared commitment to safety. Safety risk itself refers to the predicted probability and severity of the consequences or outcomes of a hazard. How likely is something bad to happen, and how bad could it be? And safety training refers to dedicated training to support safety management policies and processes, including human factors training. The note adds its main purpose is ensuring personnel maintain competency to fulfill roles safely, using knowledge from hazard ID and risk management.
Okay, if we connect these to the bigger picture then, it feels like we identify a potential hazard, we quantify its safety risk through risk assessment, and then we actively cultivate a robust safety culture, which is reinforced by things like safety training. Is that the right way to think about how they work together?
That's a perfect articulation of their synergy. Yeah. Safety risk is how we quantify the danger associated with a hazard. Risk assessment is that methodical process of evaluating the danger and deciding if it's acceptable or needs action. To effectively manage these risks and cultivate an environment where safety is truly paramount, you absolutely need that strong, positive safety culture. And this culture isn't just wishful thinking, it's actively built and reinforced through relevant safety training. This training ensures all personnel possess the competency to perform their roles safely, informed by all the insights gained from hazard identification and risk management processes. These are really the cornerstones of proactive safety management.
And let's not forget a very practical term that impacts all these processes, working days, defined simply as refer to days between and including Monday to Friday, not including public holidays. Simple, but absolutely crucial for meeting regulatory deadlines.
Indeed, sometimes the simplest definitions are the most critical in practice. Okay, finally, let's clarify the fundamental operational differences between base maintenance hangar, and line maintenance. Our sources offer really clear distinctions here. Base maintenance is described as in-depth, scheduled maintenance checks that require an aircraft to be grounded for a period, often involving major component inspections, structural evaluations, and system upgrades. It's the big stuff, time-consuming, usually at a dedicated facility. A base maintenance hangar is simply a closed facility that can house an aircraft and protect it from environmental conditions, where base maintenance happens. And line maintenance refers to the routine, quick turnaround maintenance tasks performed on aircraft between flights to ensure they are safe and airworthy for their next operation. This is the work done at the airport, often at the gate, during those short turnarounds.
Okay, so one is kind of like keeping the aircraft flying day-to-day, quick checks, while the other ensures its long-term health and airworthiness through major work.
Precisely. That's a great way to put it. The core distinction is really one of scope and location. Line maintenance is like the urgent care or quick checkup for an aircraft's swift tasks performed right there at the airport, on the tarmac, during short turnarounds. Think fluid checks, minor repairs, tire changes, that sort of thing, ensuring immediate airworthiness. Base maintenance, conversely, is more like the scheduled hospital stay for the aircraft, a major planned overhaul requiring the aircraft to be out of service for often extended periods. This involves deep inspections, significant structural work, major system upgrades, all performed in a specialized controlled environment like a base maintenance hangar. Both are absolutely vital, of course, but they serve very different operational purposes in keeping the aviation fleet safe and running smoothly long term.
That makes the distinction crystal clear. Thanks. What an insightful deep dive into the very language of aviation safety today. Understanding these terms, from the clear lines drawn by competent authority to the proactive philosophy of a just culture and the nuanced differences between types of maintenance, it really illuminates the intricate framework that keeps our skies safe.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, these definitions are far more than just bureaucratic jargon, aren't they? They form the precise vocabulary that ensures clarity, accountability, and that continuous pursuit of safety in what is, let's face it, a highly complex and interconnected industry. So what does this all mean for the bigger picture of aviation safety and how these regulations truly act as the bedrock? It means every single word, every distinction contributes to a global standard, a standard that ultimately protects lives and fosters trust in air travel worldwide.
These points are just part of the entire Part 145. Follow us on social media under the name Phoenix Way Academy to keep up with our training series and more insights.
In the next deep dive, we will go through the first 3 sections of Part 145, 145.8 end scope, 145.8 on 15 application, and 145.8 on 20 terms of approval. Looking forward to that one.
Until the next deep dive, all the best to you. Goodbye.